we did a market study a couple of years ago, and it showed that we had like a 1.3 vacancy rate for market rate housing, which is nothing. You know, it means that we've got a lot of people who are going elsewhere to live. So that's why probably about half of our faculty and staff at the college are living in Baldwinsville or places like that, because they can't find a nice enough place here to live. So, you know, we've got a great school district here. You know, in terms of having young people go to school. And like, I know my kid went here, and you know, she was able to take orchestra from 3rd grade on for free. You know, she, you know, when she was done, she was invited to apply to Harvard and places like that. You just don't, you know, unless you have a good school district, you're not getting kids who are doing that. You know, so it's really a terrific place. So we're trying to improve that quality of life so that people understand this is a great place to live, raise a family, that kind of thing. We also have this kind of assistance for rehabilitating the historic infrastructure we have. You know, most of our community was built in the 19th century. We'd like to preserve that as much as possible. In many cases, we're bringing it back. And, you know, peeling off one of these buildings I showed you used to have a stainless steel front on it. And it closed off all the windows. And, you know, with the facade program, we were able to pull that stuff off and just reveal what was underneath it. And, the same thing's true for the Woodruff building. You know, it's always been a really good building, but over the years, you know, it just got compromised, and with either people who didn't care about it or neglected it in various ways because they didn't have the money to do anything with it. And when you can't get rents for upper stories development, it means you're only getting, you know, a third or maybe a quarter of what you could for the square footage. It means that people aren't investing in the building and keeping it up. So. What we have here is, you know, a lot of old buildings that need stewardship. So, initially, I think there was something that happened across the country after World War II, where everybody wanted to modernize things, and we ended up with a lot of old buildings coming down. Some people would blame folks like Robert Moses, you know, who did a lot of the destruction of neighborhoods in New York City, but that carried throughout New York State. And the urban renewal money that I know we had here took down an old opera house on the east side of the river, took down, actually our downtown on the east side looked very much like the downtown on the west side. If you see old pictures of this community. So the Midtown Plaza, for example, and where the Quality Inn is now, those were built in the 1960s with urban renewal money, and they took down really pretty fantastic old buildings to accommodate that, because it was, you know, the time of the Jetsons, and you know, you wanted modern buildings. And, our city engineer tells the story of when he first came here. The mayor at the time said that, yes, we've got this old city hall, but we think we'll probably be building a new one. Can you imagine walking away from our city hall to build a new, you know, modern, probably one-story structure? That was the brain set of the time. So, luckily, I think during the 80s, 90s, people started really embracing historic preservation and understanding that the character of these old buildings, you know, was really part of our heritage, and something that we needed to embrace and to preserve in order to carry on, because you can't reconstruct these old buildings. But, you know, we needed to really recognize and respect them, our roots in that regard. So I think that's really what this was all about. The 2020 plan that we first created in 2003 said that we really needed to preserve what we had, and whatever we created needed to respect that 19th century flavor and character of our city. And so that's why we were able to get things like these other grants.
Okay.
We've got another 2010 grant for Main Street. We did some work on the east side as well. Mom and Pop's is getting a new porch, for example,
wow.
over on East Utica Street. We've also done some smaller ones like the Oswego Tea Shop.
Oh yeah, Oswego.
That building.
Yeah.
So didn't have a lot of money. We're going to be looking for more money for the east side to restore some of those storefronts. Even like the Chinese restaurant is looking to do new facade work on their place, and he's got 3 buildings in a row there that he'd like to do in a similar fashion as Azteca.
Oh wow.
Okay, but with the Chinese kind of flavor to it, which would be really kind of fun.
that'd be neat.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good projects out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Actually, Wayne Drugs is going to be done this summer too.
Okay.
And Wayne Drugs is those facades used to look like an old Woolworths. So you're going to see that be just manifest itself over the summer, hopefully. So, and that's again part of the Main Street renovations that we'll be doing.